Hello, Dick Van Dyke Show friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is KJ Ricardo, and a few weeks ago I recorded a Q&A for the I Love Lucy side of my YouTube channel. I got a lot of positive feedback on that and requests to do another Q&A for the Dick Van Dyke Show. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. You sent in your questions. Great questions. I'm really excited to dive into those. So let's get started. Well, I remember watching the Dick Van Dyke Show as a kid. It was on reruns on TV Land. And so I remember watching the show and I would laugh and I thought it was really funny. But as I was growing up, the show was taken off of TV Land and so it wasn't on reruns. So I didn't really grow up watching it quite the same as I grew up watching I Love Lucy, if you're familiar with my I Love Lucy content. So it wasn't really until I went off to college when I bought a box set of the Dick Van Dyke Show where I started to watch more of the episodes and basically be reintroduced to the show, and I fell in love with it all over again. I remembered some of the episodes from my childhood, but I saw some episodes I'd never seen before and I just fell in love with that. And so it's been probably about 5 years that I've been a fan of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I probably will be a fan of it for the rest of my life. Well, this is almost an impossible question to answer because I love every character on the Dick Van Dyke Show. There are qualities about each of them that stands out from the other characters. Rob, of course, he's the main character. Most of the storylines revolve around him. His physical comedy is great. Dick Van Dyke, of course, is phenomenal on the Dick Van Dyke Show. I also love Laura. She's a great companion to Rob, but also Buddy, Sally, Millie, and Jerry. Basically all of them are just great characters and they work so well together. And so it's almost impossible for me to choose a favorite character. It depends on the episode. There are some episodes that feature Laura really well and so I fall in love with her, or there are episodes that feature Buddy or Sally and so I fall in love with them. But probably my most favorite characters are Rob, Laura, and Sally. Those would be my top three. Again, this is a really hard question to answer. This question was sent in to me through an Instagram follower, Alyssa. She's a great Dick Van Dyke Show fan, and so I appreciate her sending me this challenging question. Well, there are a lot of scenes that I love that take place at home between Rob and Laura. Any scene between them I fall in love with. One scene in particular that is just coming to my mind right now is from the Two Faces of Rob, when he disguised his voice and she thinks that it's someone else's attractive foreign guy. And so he comes home and she has the dinner table all set up and she comes walking out in this sexy gown and everything and he falls into her arms. It's a really funny scene, and so that's probably one of my favorites. It's a great scene between them. At the office, pretty much any scene that takes place at the Alan Brady Show's writer's room is one of my favorites. I love Buddy, Sally, and Rob. Their interaction together is wonderful. But one of my favorite scenes is from The Curious Thing About Women, when they get this idea about this woman, this wife who can't stop opening her husband's mail, and they're acting out the sketch and they're writing it as they go, but they just keep adding ideas and they are so into it. And it's really great. I'm a writer myself, and so watching that scene is so true to how you really write. You get involved in your work and it's really nice to see that. And so those are some of my favorites. Well, this is another difficult question to answer, but I prefer the first 3 seasons of the Dick Van Dyke Show. I just think those seasons had some of the more iconic and classic episodes of the show. That's My Boy, which was the first episode of season 3. My Blonde-Haired Brunette, The Curious Thing About Women. Just some of the most iconic episodes were found in the first 3 seasons. And so I enjoy those a little bit more than the final 2 seasons. A show is always great at the beginning, and then the longer it's on, it kind of loses its spark a little bit. So that's why I enjoy the first three seasons the best. Well, if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I have talked about this episode quite a bit, and that's The Curious Thing About Women. I just love this episode. I always say that it's comedy genius. Everything about the episode is hilarious. Laura can't stop opening Rob's mail. She's a very curious woman. And then we have the great scene at the office between Rob, Buddy, and Sally, where they're writing out this comedy sketch based off of Rob's personal life. And they're really into the writing. It's a great scene between them. And then later on, Laura receives a package in the mail, and she can't control herself. She's going to open this package. This episode features everybody in the cast, including Millie and Jerry. They have a great moment where they can't stop laughing at Laura receiving this package. And so this episode features everybody in a really nice way, and it ends with a classic moment in television history. It's great.
Who is it? Honey? Honey, are you in there? Honey, did a package come for me?
Well, I don't have a direct connection to the Dick Van Dyke Show. Like, I'm not related to anyone. I don't know Carl Reiner or anyone related to the show, but I am a fan. And so I guess that is my connection, and I enjoy learning about the Dick Van Dyke Show, doing research, which I report back on my YouTube channel for all of you. And so I'm an avid fan, and I imagine that will continue to grow as I learn more. And so that's my small little connection to the Dick Van Dyke Show. Well, this was a fun question to receive and difficult to answer. There are so many songs. I would choose a great love song for Rob and Laura, maybe Love by Nat King Cole. That's a great song that I could put a montage of their relationship to. Other songs just coming to the top of my head, maybe 9 to 5 for the writers and working 9 to 5, Dolly Parton, and just any other songs. I'll have to think about that, but you just gave me a good idea for some future videos, so thanks. I believe that Mel says more often, he says yick to whenever Buddy insults him. It's always funny to watch their interaction. I've always noticed it more as yick rather than yuck, but I know that sometimes it is inconsistent. But you just gave me an idea also for another video to kind of put a compilation of all the times when Buddy insults Mel and Mel says yuck, or he uses his little clipper that his therapist gave him. So you gave me another idea, so thanks. Well, Morey Amsterdam's real name was Moritz Amsterdam. They nicknamed him Morey for short. It's a Jewish name. Morey Amsterdam was Jewish, and his character Buddy Sorrell was also Jewish. And so that's some fun fact about Morey Amsterdam. In December, I plan to do a full biography on Morey Amsterdam. He had an incredible career. So stay tuned for that. There are many things that I love about Dick Van Dyke. I love his physical comedy. He was really the king of physical comedy, and we see that on the Dick Van Dyke Show. There are moments where he falls and then he's able to jump right back up and not miss a beat, and just the way he can move his body around, it's almost mesmerizing sometimes. We're like, how is he doing that? And so we see that on the show, but also in other projects in his career. Mary Poppins, Bye Bye Birdie, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He was just a very talented individual, and he still is, because he's still around today, and hopefully he'll still be around for a while. One quote I really love from Dick Van Dyke is, he once said he would never do a movie that his children couldn't watch. And I love that. It just shows that he loved family-friendly comedy, which I enjoy too. And so that's something I love about him. There's so much that I love about Mary Tyler Moore, and I was really upset when she passed away unexpectedly. It was a real surprise in 2017. I love how revolutionary she was. She was a feminist. She inspired women to get jobs, especially with the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She inspired women to get jobs in a male-dominated field like journalism, like her character, Mary Richards. Or on the Dick Van Dyke Show, she wore pants, which was unheard of at the time for a woman to be seen wearing pants on a daily basis. And so I just love everything about her. She was very sweet and kind, and she was an activist. She supported diabetes research because she was a diabetic herself. And so she was a really nice and sweet and very humble person right up until the end of her life. And so when she passed away, we truly were missing someone really great in Hollywood. Well, there are many things I love about the Dick Van Dyke Show, but I just love that it's clean comedy. It's family friendly. Everybody can enjoy an episode. And the show really did a great job of showcasing everybody in the cast. There's great episodes that feature Rob, Laura, Buddy, Sally, Millie, and even Jerry. Everyone is featured really well. Even Larry Matthews, who plays Richie. It's just everyone gets a chance to really shine, and we get to fall in love with every character. It's just really great, and so I love watching every episode. It's a great show, and it's a timeless show. Well, I hope that you enjoyed hearing my answers to these questions. I enjoyed answering your questions. You guys sent in some really creative questions that made me think outside the box a bit, and so I always appreciate that. And so let me know in a comment what you enjoyed most about this video, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know and I will happily consider those. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember to always laugh often. Bye, guys.